Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to a Marathon Wednesday, the day we take on the big catalogues. And today we have got a viewer's request. And we was asked to rank the albums of Canadian rock band the Barenaked Ladies. Now these are from Canada and they were formed in 1988. In a suburb of Toronto called Scarborough. And they developed a following in Canada and they released their self-titled 1991 cassette, becoming the first independent release to be certified as gold in Canada, which is pretty good. Then they had the mainstream success with their debut that was released in 1992. And they've been going strong. They've had a few someone leave under a bit of a cloud, but we won't go into that. 14 albums, and of course they created the theme song for the big American sitcom The Big Bang Theory. So we'll have a look at their 14 albums. Me as a fan of Barenaked Ladies, I only really know their big hits. So when I started this, I didn't know much about their other music, but I've really enjoyed going down this rabbit hole. So we'll have a look at the albums. So these are the rankings. Okay, they may be not the same as you if you're a huge fan. You've got to remember, when people ask me to rank, I will rank, even though I've not had much dealings with them and listening to them. So this is a very honest opinion of what I think. So if you disagree, don't think it's just a matter of opinion, isn't it? You know, what my number 14 may be your favourite. You know, if it is brilliant, but this is how I see it. So, coming in at number 14, we have the third album from 1996, and it's called Born on a Pirate Ship. Playing on here, we've got Jim Cregan on vocals and double bass, Stephen Page on vocals, sound effects and guitars, Ed Robertson vocals, acoustic guitars, Tyler Stewart on the drums, and Fisher Price xylophone. And Bryan Adams, yes, the Bryan Adams doing the yells. So the first track on this one is called Stomach versus Heart. It's a nice little quirky number. Some nice guitars on this. It's okay. It's quirky. Straw Hat and Old Dirty Hank. Again, it's quirky. Like most of the Barenaked Ladies songs are. I don't mind that one. Then we have I Know. Very strange track. Very disjointed. It stops, starts. I just couldn't get on with it really. This is where it ends. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's the best thing I've ever heard, but it's pleasant enough. When I Fall. Some nice words in it, but the song itself lacks a little bit of zing. Then my favourite on here is a track called I Live With It Every Day, co-wrote by Stephen Duffy. This has got a little bit more oomph to it. It's a catchy, quirky little song, and I really like that one. The Old Apartment, there's a nice feel to this. Second favourite on my album track. I just like the words. It's just a nice song. Call Me Calmly comes next. Starts well and then just fizzles out. It's got a really strong start, but it goes into nothing. Then we have Break Your Heart, which was originally recorded for Maybe You Shouldn't Drive, another album, but never got on the album. It doesn't fit on here, to be quite honest. It's just a reject song. I don't know, strange. Then we have Spider on the Room. I just didn't like this song. It flattens out. Then we have Same Thing, another out track that should have been on the maybe you should drive. It just lacks something again. We'll talk about that album a bit later, but I don't know why they brought it up. Just a Toy, yeah. We're getting into the road. This is track 12. Things are starting to sound a bit samey. It's all right. In the Drink, too long. It's 5 minutes long, but for this quirkiness, I think it needed to be a little bit shorter, because you just get lost in it, and it's very same as the last track, Shoebox. Quite good. One of the most upbeat tracks to end the album. For me, it's not as memorable as any of the others. It's one that I listened to it a few times and I really just couldn't get into it as much as the others. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in at number 13. This is their 11th album from 2015 and it's called Silverball. Stephen Page has left by now, so we've got Jim Cregan on the bass and background and lead vocal on one track, Kevin Hearn on the synthesizers, Fighting for You is the lead vocal, Ed Robinson does some lead vocals as well, Tyler Stewart as ever on the drums. Additional people on here, we've got Tim Bavaconti on the pedal steel, Mike Evin on extra keyboards, and Lyle Herbert Robinson does the solo on A Piece of Cake. Hugh Marsh electric violin on some tracks as well. First track on this one is called Get Back Up. Good track, gritty start. It's a typical sort of Barenaked Ladies song. I like that one. Nice sort of quirky thing. Here Before, this is one of those hand clapping waving sorts. Never been a fan of these. It's a little bit cheesy in my books. Matter of Time, a nice gentle track. It's quirky keyboard here. Kevin has done some really nice quirky keyboard pieces, and that is one of them. Duct Tape Heart, catchy little song. Again, lots of quirky little memorable keyboard runs in that one. Say What You Want, great little song, nothing wrong with that one. Passcode, my favourite track on here. I tell you what, Kevin Hearn sings this, and he sings some really nice songs. This reminds me of the sort of lyrics that Gilbert O'Sullivan wrote. That's probably why I like it. It reminds me of sort of the thing is, and Kevin's got that sort of voice as well. Great little track. Hold My Hand, the opening riff to this is really good, really uplifting track, and then it wimps out. You know, it starts strong and it's a shame. It's a shame because it started really well. Narrow Streets comes next. Another of my favourite tracks on here. Love Tyler's drumming, the little keyboards. The keyboards got that sort of Stranglers sound that they had. Really good. Toe to Toe. Some nice guitars on this. It's all a lot of acoustic, and I like that. I like Piece of Cake. This has got a great solo on here, of course, which is done by Lyle Herbert Robinson. Really good solo. And then you've got Kevin's lovely keyboards on it as well. Silverball, the title track, more quirky keyboards from Kevin. I do like that. Tired of Fighting With You, nice tune, great vocal. Sounds like Garfunkel. That's quite nice, and it's Kevin singing it. Now, I think this is a pretty solid album. It's got a couple of tracks I'm not keen on, but on the whole, it's a really good album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 12, we have Grinning Streak, 10th album from 2013. So it's Jim Cregan, Kevin Hearn, Ed Robinson, Tyler Stewart. We've got extras. Chris Stapleton starring as being Stapes, and Nora Patterson background vocals. First track on here is called Limits. The start is quite echoey, and that keyboard really builds up, so much like their earlier stuff. I like that. Then we have Boomerang. my favourite track on here. It's just one of them fun sort of Barenaked Ladies tracks. Good vocal, good song. It's really uplifting and some nice lyrics as well. Off his head, little sort of rock pop song. Some great playing on here. Great vocal. I think it's Ed Robinson that does the vocals on that. Pretty good. Gonna Walk. Now this reminds me of remember the band Athlete. Their sort of quirkiness and simplicity. This is in that same vein. I do like that track. Then we get Odds Are. Solid track. Nothing wrong with this one. Typical sort of Barenaked Ladies delivery of a song. Really good track. Keeping It Real. The guitar work on this one is pretty good. I must admit, most of their tracks are really uplifting, quirky little numbers, and that is one of them. Give It Back to You. I'm saying about that, this one isn't. It's not very memorable. It's okay. Best Damn Friend. It's got a really good bass line. It really is a very distinctive one. It's quite good. Did I Say That Out Loud? It's a bit of a boy band sort of song, really. Yeah. Daydreaming, one of Kevin's lovely quirky keyboard pieces in it. Really good. Smile is a clap your hands sort of song. And then Crawl. I really like this song. It's all to do with the guitars and the percussion. Such a nice track to end the album. Once again, we have a pretty solid album. Some good tracks on here from a pretty consistent band throughout their career. And I'll give this one an RTO ranking of 6.3. Okay, coming in at number 11. It's the 12th album now. This is from 2017. And it's called Fake Nudes. Jim, Kevin, Ed and Tyler. Canada Dry opens up this one. I love the harmonies on here. When you've got a band that can all sing, when they do their harmonies, it's good. It's quite quiet with a catchy tune, and I do like that. Really good track. Bringing It Home. Once again, we have some lovely harmonies on this, but the track itself is a little bit poppy. Invisible Fence. It's okay. It's a reasonable track. Looking Up. It's one of these sort of uplifting busking. This is a track that you could busk on the street corner with, and I like tracks like that. Then we have Sunshine. Some nice words in this quirky little number as well. My favourite on this one is another Kevin Hearn track called Dusty Rooms. I love the piano on it from Kevin. It's got some sort of backwoods percussion on it, which really adds to it. Really good track. Then we took the Night. A great chuggy beat to this one. A great vocal from Jim. I like that track a lot. Navigate. Tyler's drums are pretty good on this. It doesn't fit the song, but it sounds good, if you get my drift. Flying Dreams, second favourite track on here. It reminds me again of Simon and the Garfunkel. Kevin Hearn taking the lead vocal on that one, and he sounds like art. Nobody Better, interesting drum beat on this. The time signature on it is really strange, but it's really good. Bag of Bones. This is that avant-garde sort of pop. What you'd get from bands like 10cc or XTC. And I love it. I love that sort of differentness of it. Then we got You and Me versus the World. Reminds me of REM. That's really good. 2020 Hindsight. Another great vocal from Kevin, and the guitar riff's pretty good on here. The Township of King. Quirky little track. Some nice acoustic guitars to end the album. Yeah, a lot of tracks on here, but 14 of them. But you don't know that it's going to be 14. There's a couple they could have left off here, but in all honesty, I do find it a really good album, and it does go very, very quickly. 14 songs. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.4. Top 10. So, rounding out the top 10, we have the 9th album from 2010, and it's called In All Good Time. And it's the first album that, following the departure of founding member Stephen Page. So, and it's Andy Cregan had left, so this is also Kevin Hearn's first album. So it's Ed, Kevin, Jim and Tyler. First track on here is called You Run Away. I love this track. Love the piano. Love Ed's vocal on it. He just sounds so much like Michael Stipe on this though. But there's nothing wrong with that. Summertime. I like the guitars on this. It's a great track. Ed Robinson again doing the vocals. Another Heartbreak. One of my favourite tracks on here. Kevin's piano is wonderful, and it's his first vocal, and it's pretty good. 4 Seconds comes next. My favourite track. I love this. I love these sort of tracks. It's very simple and different instruments. It reminds me of an all-girl band called Cats and Jammer. Now, that's a name we've not heard on the channel, but that you will hear a little bit more about them in a few months' time. But I love these sort of tracks. It's just a bit of busky type music. Brilliant track. On the Lookout. Very poppy. I don't like it when bands try and go poppy when they're not a pop band. Yeah, leave it to the pop stars. This is a sort of a rock band. Nah, we don't need that. Ordinary, another good track. Some great piano here from Kevin, and I love the simple drum beat and the acoustic guitars on it. It just really is a good track. I Have Learned. Again, we got some lovely guitars on here. Very good guitar players, this band, and I like that track. Every Subway Car. Kevin's wonderful keyboards on this. It makes it very memorable when you've got a quirky keyboard run. Jerome. Not a particular favourite of mine. It's probably one of the most boring songs that Kevin Hearn ever did. I just don't like it. Don't ask me why. How Long? Great vocal. The guitar effects are really good on that one. Just like the next one, Golden Boy. Lovely riffs on this. Very, very memorable riffs. Good track. Then we have I Saw It. It's a okay song. Solid. Nothing wrong with that one. The Love We're In. This is quite weak. It's one of the tracks that, you know, bit of a filler track. Watching the Northern Lights. Bit of a filler track as well. Yeah, it's not a strong track. First 12 tracks are brilliant. Last 2 not so good. But I do like the 12 tracks, and I'll give this an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, then coming in at number 9, we have the 13th album. And this was released in 2021, and it's called Detour de Force. We've got Jim, Kevin, Ed and Tyler. First track is called Flip. I do like this. What I like about the majority of the Barenaked Ladies albums, they always starts off with this quick, quirky opener that draws you in, gets your attention, and that's what I like about it. It's quick, it's quirky, it's uplifting. Good track. Good Life. Starts off a little bit weak. And ooh. It's a 3 minute 21 seconds, but it does get going, and when it does get going, it's a super song. Love that. New Disaster. I love this track as well. It's quirky, it's fun, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Big Backyard. I do like Kevin singing. The harmonies are on this. It's another great little quirky song from Kevin. Live Well, an Ed Robinson number, and he sings it good. Some nice guitar work on that. Flat Earth. Another Kevin memorable keyboard line that really adds to it. It's really good. Love that track. Here Together, some nice acoustic guitar on here. The keyboard bits are good as well. I like that rollout. It's not one of my favourite tracks on here, it sounds alright. But my favourite track on here is a thing called By Law. The guitars are great. It's a great vocal from Kevin. Superb track that is. God Forbid, solid enough track. Paul Chambers, some nice electric piano on this, gives it that sort of 70s feel to it. Really strong track as well. The National Park, another great Kevin Hearn track. Lovely vocal from him on that one. Man Melee, very good song. Some nice driving riffy sort of things going on. Just very solid. And then the last track is called Internal Dynamo. Probably one of the heaviest songs this band have ever done. The riffs are great. And then it goes acoustic again to make it a nice quiet end to it. I think this is a great album, especially at this part of their career. You know, they're still coming out with great songs and a real enjoyable album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, coming in at number 8 is their most current album, and it came out last year. And it's called In Flight, and it's got Ed on it, Jim, Tyler and Kevin. Loving Life. Now this really has gone back to basics. It just sounds like stuff off their early albums. I like this. Great vocals. Then we have One Night. It starts really heavy at the beginning, and then it just goes into that normal sort of quirky Barenaked Ladies sound. Enough Time, another great song. I love the funky percussion on this. And then we have What Do We Need. Now this has got some accordion on it. You're expecting Foster and Allen to appear. But it's a quirky track. It's a good, solid track. Just Wait. It's got a 50s feel to it. I like that track a lot. Wan in Moon, lovely song. Some nice vocals on this. Nice quirky thing. Then we have my favourite track on here. It's called 50 for a While. It's got a bit of a country feel to it, which is a bit different for them. It's got some violin on it. It's an excellent track. See the Tower, not a great fun of this, a bit flat. Too Old, a folky song, and I love the folk accordion on this, and it's a great vocal from Kevin. Hard to Do, very solid track from them. Make Yourself Uncomfortable, some great guitar work on this. One of the nicest songs on the album. The Dream Hotel, another pretty solid track. Clearly Lost. Pleasant. There's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't say it's my favourite, but it's just... Wake Up, it's a little bit of a filler track on this one. Not as strong. I Am Asking You, it's okay. Solid enough. Peace Lady's a bit cheesy. On the whole, it's a good album, but with 16 tracks on here. The ones towards the end are a little bit of filler, but don't take away from the solid tracks at the beginning of the album. You know, for that band that have been putting out material since '91, they're still putting out good material in 2023. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.8. Okay, coming in at number 7, we go back to that debut album released in 1992, Gordon. So this features Stephen, Ed, Jim, Andy Cregan and Tyler Stewart. So the first track is called Hello City. This reminds me of the House Martins or Beautiful South. I love this sound, and I love the trumpet in it. Absolutely brilliant. Enid, great vocal from Stephen. It's a nice song. I do like that track. Then we get Grade 9. That's a good track. It's a nice vocal from Stephen. I like that track a lot. Then we have Brian Wilson, song about Brian Wilson. It's really nice. Lovely bass line. Then we have Be My Yoko Ono. It's a very simple song. It's that sort of thing that, like a band that I've mentioned, Cats and Jammer, went on to do. And they do take, I think they do take the P out of Yoko Ono a little bit, and I quite like that because I'm not a great fan of Yoko Ono. Wrap Your Arms Around Me, a really good vocal on this. It's a nice arrangement as well. What a Good Boy. Love that track. King of the Bedside Manor. I think this is a really nice busky song in that sort of style of music. You can imagine someone doing this on the street corner. My favourite track though is Box Set. It's just got that Latino Cuban feel to it. I heard so much of this sort of sound when I was out there, and I love that sound, and that's probably why it's my favourite track on here. I Love You. This has got a jazz feel to it. It's got a jazz bass line, jazz piano. Second favourite track on here. That's probably good. Then we got New Kid on the Block. Tyler's drumming is a little bit strange, but there's too much of it. It needs to be toned down a bit. Blame It On Me. A great piano on this. I love the percussion. Bongos, fantastic. Then we have The Flag. Love the cello on this. Very simple song, but the cello really works and adds depth. Then quite a popular fan if I had $1 million. Great bass line. There's some great violins. I like this track. Crazy, it's okay. And then we had this hidden track called That Father, really silly thing, clever, bit of acoustic. I think this was a very good debut album, but it's like most debut albums, a band that was still trying to find their niche. So there's some really interesting stuff on this, and I do like this. Although this sounds, some of their tracks do sound like the Canadian version of House Martins, and then 10 years later we'd have that band Cats and Jammer would do some of the stuff that they do on this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 6 from 2007, Barenaked Ladies Are Men. It's their 8th album, and it's the second release of material from the 29 song sessions that bore the companion with another album we'll look at in a moment. So this is the, and on here we've got Stephen Page, Ed Robinson, Jim Cregan, Tyler Sue Stewart and Kevin Hearn. First track on here is called Serendipity. Once again, catchy start, some great, it's a Kevin Hearn track, so you got a lovely vocal and some nice keyboards on this one. Something You'll Never Find. Again, the guitar work on this is super. Like that track a lot. One and Only. The harmonies, again, as I've spoke before about the harmonies in this band, really good. And with Stephen in there as well, that his voice was very distinctive, and he's in the harmonies, you can hear it. Angry People. Now this is one of these foot tapping tracks. I like this. Some nice drumming from Tyler on it as well. Down to Earth. Great guitar riffs. More lovely harmony singing on this. Beautiful. Not my favourite track, but it has got one hell of a bass line on it. Then my favourite track on here is called Running Out of Ink. A typical quirky, it's got a 70s sounding keyboard on it. It's very memorable. Good track. Half a Heart. Great vocal from Ed. Like that. Maybe Not. Good track. The riffs are good in it. Solid. I Can, I Will, I Do. Another song that sounds like the band Athlete, and I like Athlete, I'm going to like that. Fun and Games. This is quite a bizarre track. It starts all poppy. I think, ooh, I don't like this. And all of a sudden it goes jazzy. Oh, I like that. I like that bit. And then it goes back to the pop. And, yeah. The New Sad. Some lovely gentle drumming from Tyler on this. It's a really moving song. Nice words as well. Quality comes next. Great bass line on here. Good song. Another spin. I love the use of brass on this. Gives it a little bit more zing. It's a Kevin Hearn track, so you always get something good from Kevin. Then we have What I Let Down. I love the twin guitars on this at the beginning. Then the bass comes in. This is quite heavy for them. I do like it. Why Say Anything Nice. Solid track to end the album. Now, for an album that has got 16 tracks on there, there's only a couple of tracks that didn't fit, but the others are pretty solid. I think it's because they're all between 2 and 3 minutes long, so it goes quite quickly. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay then, coming at number 5 is the 7th album. It's the first album of this session they did. This one's called Barenaked Ladies Are Me. Now this was released in 2006. Same lineup, of course. Stephen, Ed, Jim, Tyler and Kevin. So the first track on here is called Adrift. Now instead of starting off with a quirky track, let's chat this sort of gentle. It's a lovely arrangement, some nice guitar work. It's a different sort of pace, and I do like it. Then we have Bank Job. Kevin's keyboards are fantastic on this. Like that. Sound of Your Voice. I really like this. It's my favourite song on here. It reminds me of sort of that 60s ballad something. Some real crisp guitar work on that as well. Easy is the next track. Love the bass line. Drives the song along, and then you've got little bits of acoustic guitar intermingling with that bass line. Home. I love this. The words are fantastic. Doesn't matter where your home is, it's all about the song is relevant to every person's home. Wonderful track. Bull in a China shop. Nice song. Bit of tongue in cheek in there as well. I like that. Everything Changed. Interesting track. We've got mandolins, we've got banjos, quirky little keyboards. Really good. Then we have this track called Peterborough and the Calvethers. Short track, simple track. No, nothing to it, but it's good. I like that. I like the simplicity of that track. Maybe You're Right. We got some strings in this with the keyboards, and it really works. Great track. Take It Back, another solid song. Love the little bit of piano that runs through the background. Vanishing. It's one of those simple tracks with a simple drum beat, and it works perfectly. And you get the guitar coming in and out of it. Really strong track, that one. Rule the World with Love. Kevin's quirky keyboards and a little bit of accordion thrown in as well. And then Wind It Up. Good track. You think it's going to be heavy at the beginning, and then it mellows out. It's got a great solo on it as well. Solid album, not a bad track on this one. 13 really strong tracks, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, we're up to number 4 now. The 6th album, Everything to Everyone, and it was released in 2003. So it's Jim, Kevin, Stephen, Ed and Tyler. First track on here is called Celebrity, and I think this is one of their bigger hits. Everybody knows this. Very popular song. I love the piano in this. It's so quirky. Excellent track. Great vocal from Stephen. Maybe Katie. Lovely organ playing on here from Kevin. I like Kevin. He really did add to this band. He's a great writer, great singer, and great keyboard player. Absolutely brilliant track. Another Postcard, excellent track. Top draw stuff. The bass is great. I love the vocal on this. It is a strong track. Next Time. The keyboard at the beginning reminds me of a funeral home in the movies in America. especially, you know, remember Some Like Your Heart when they go into the funeral parlour. It's all that. It's quite quirky, and it's one of my favourite tracks on the album. The guitars are lovely as well. For You, a really good track. Again, they were so good at doing these sort of busky sort of tracks. Shopping. Some simple keyboards, an uplifting thing, and some such simple words, simple song. It's just a lovely song. I do like it. Testing 1 2 3. The start of this is quirky. I do like this. Another good track. Upside Down. It's going well, and then you get some accordion. Don't expect that. Really is good. War on Drugs. It's a gentle song considering what the content is. Nice harmonies. Illumination, my second favourite track on here. Lovely harmonies again. Unfinished, my favourite song on here. It's got some lovely violin and quirky keyboard that mix well. Second Best. Groovy bass line, some great drumming from Tyler on that as well. Then we have Take It Outside. It's the best guitar work on this album. Really strong, quirky little number. And then you have You See My Love, a beautiful acoustic song to end the album. Not a bad track on this. I think this is a great album. I'd never heard this one before, and I really enjoy it. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay then, coming in at number 3. Tough this was, because these are the 3 albums I really did go, wow, these are good. It's 5th album from the year 2000, and it's called Maroon. So Jim is on here, Kevin's on here, Stephen's on here, Ed's on here, and Tyler. First track, Too Little Too Late. Once again, we have that wonderful quirky start, nice riffs, hooks you in straight away. Great vocal from Stephen Page. Never Do Anything, some quirky keyboards on this, really adds to it. Pinch Me, outstanding drumming from Tyler, and the interplay between Tyler and Kevin on this is really good. Another good track. Go Home. This is a very country sort of thing, and it sounds like Paul Heaton, the vocals, for some reason. Or is it just me being stupid? But I think he sounds like Paul Heaton to Stephen. Falling for the first time. Lovely piano piece from Kevin. Ed Robinson's vocal is so good on that as well. Conventioneers, love the bass line, the percussion from Tyler. You've got a lovely little bit of piano on it as well, and it comes together lovely. Sell, Sell, Sell. The beginning of this sounds like it's being played on a harp, but I'm not quite sure. It's got sort of a marching drum beat from Tyler. Quirky song with some lovely keyboard stabs in there. The humour of the situation. Again, Tyler's drumming on this is good. He's really done some nice drumming. It's tinny, but it works. And the keyboard, I think it's because you've got this little quirky keyboard that runs through it. Baby Seat, my favourite track on here. Catchy tune, co-wrote by Stephen Duffy and Stephen Page. Some wonderful harmonies on this. Absolutely brilliant track. Off the Hook. Now this has got some drum machine on it, and it actually works. I love Kevin's quirky keyboards. It's a very different sort of song for them, and it worked. Helicopters. You know it's Barenaked Ladies within 30 seconds. It's got that nice quirky sound on it. Excellent little track. Tonight Is the Night I Fell Asleep at the Wheel. Second favourite track. Interesting vocals, of course. But yeah, I forget the vocals, the quirky tune. Then we have this little hidden track on it called Hidden Sun. I like this. I love the bongos on it. Another bad album. Another bad album on here. Shall we start that again? A good album with not a bad track. Different arrangements. They do a bit of pop. They do a little bit of jazz. There's some silly nonsense humorous songs on it, all very good. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. So my number 2 album is their second album, released in 1994, and it should Maybe You Should Drive. Andy Cregan's on here, Jim Cregan's on here, Stephen Page, Ed Robertson, and Tyler Stewart. First track on here is called Jane, one of my favourite songs by the Barenaked Ladies. I remember hearing this back in the day, and I've always loved it. It doesn't matter how many times you hear this, it's just a simple song with some great words. Fantastic track to open the album. Then we have Interminty. Great bass line, very hooky. I love the little keyboard stabs on that from Andy Cregan. These Apples, one of my favourite tracks on this album. I think it's because it's a little bit different, it delivers. The drumming's interesting, it changes quite a lot, which adds to the track. You'll Be Waiting, my favourite song by Barenaked Ladies. Lovely words, I think it's a nice arrangement. I love that gentle percussion on it. Then we have some jazzy guitar at the beginning of this. I like jazzy guitar, and I like the sort of the changes on it, the tones, and then you throw a bit of violin, which sounds really good. Then we have Everything Is Old Is New Again. Some sterling guitar work on there, which is really good. Quirky, fun track. Alternative Girlfriend, some lovely harmony singing on this. Great song. I Am the Only One next. Acoustic guitars on this, quirky. Next, little tiny song. It's a track. It's written by Andy Cregan and he sings on it. It's a very short track and it's him at the piano. Very good. Life in a Nutshell. One of these breezy tracks with some nice acoustic guitars. I like the use of acoustic guitar on this album. The Wrong Man Was Convicted. Quite a long song for the Barenaked Ladies. It's 5 minutes long. It's great. Love the arrangement, and it's got some lovely piano work from Andy. I like that. Great provider. Tyler's intricate drumming on this. Lots of stops and starts. It's got a jazzy, jazzy feel to it. The electric piano is good. Great track to end the album. Second great album, following it from Gordon. They've sort of improved on the sound, and this is where you start to get that unique sound of Barenaked Ladies come through on this. Not great album from top to bottom, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.8. But my number 1 album, and it's one album what I do know, it's got one of my favourite tracks on it, and it came out in 1988, and it's called Stunt. Jim, Kevin, Stephen, Ed, and Tyler. On here has got probably the first song I ever heard by this band. It's 1 Week. It's appeared in a few films at the time. I remember that. I'm sure I've heard it in American Pie or one of them sort of films. I love this. I love the quirky vocals. It's a brilliant song with a great bass line. It's all been done. Harmonies. That's all I'll say. The harmonies are wonderful on this. Light Up My Room. One of my top 10 songs of Barenaked Ladies. I just love the harmonies. The nice gentle guitars on this. Some lovely riffs as well. It's really, really good. I'll Be That Girl. The most poppy song on this, but it's good. The acoustic guitars are really strong. Leave. A great mixture of electric, acoustic and bass. All working together, really good. Alcohol. Another great track on here. driving riffs, the keyboard that keeps coming in and out of the track. Really strong track. Call and Answer. One of the longer songs, but what makes this a little bit different, got this sort of fluty sound in it. Electric guitar, no effects, just plug in, no distortion. Really adds to it. Such a great track. In the Car. This one's got that 60s guitar feel to it. Some great drumming from Tyler on it as well. Pretty strong track. Then we have Never Is Enough. Kevin's keyboards are wonderful in this. It brings it some lovely drumming from Tyler. Some nice harmonies on this. Who Needs Sleep? Who Needs Sleep? A bit light, warm, quirky backing vocals. Told You So, another track that's dominated by wonderful harmony singing and one of Kevin's quirky little keyboard runs. Some fantastic, interesting percussion on this. I like the plonky sound. It sounds like it's being played on glass bottles. Great track. When You Dream, lovely song. Interesting percussion on this one again. It's got some lovely guitar work on it. It's probably the best of their long tracks they've ever done. It's a great track to end the album. Great album. I think this is where they really establish their sound. Some great tracks on here. A couple of their big hits is on this album as well. 13 great songs, not a bad track on it, and I think this is the best they've ever done. And I really love this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, there we go. Barenaked Ladies, a band that I didn't know too much about, but I think they're quite a good band. I've really enjoyed listening to these. So thank you for whoever said do Barenaked Ladies. It's been a terrific one to do. Okay, that's all for today, as this takes forever to render and what have you. But we'll be back tomorrow. Now, we're going to start tomorrow with Pick and Mix. And we're going to look at the top 10 singles on May the 2nd in America in 1959. Because also tomorrow, we're going to do, me and Dave are doing a review of the Battle Royale. Lost myself. And I said I was going to really. You'll find out the result of the last quarter final on that as well. But we will tell you again on the live stream as well. So have a great day, everyone. Happy May Day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.